Soldiers helped a tiger crying for help, leading to an unexpected turn of events. What happened next left them very shocked. It all started at the Pargo Army camp in Rajouri, far north India. The soldiers stationed there were about to face a life-changing encounter. Akhil, one of the soldiers on patrol, was keeping a watchful eye on the edge of the camp. Suddenly, a figure emerged in the distance. The movements were slow and deliberate, with 4 legs powering through the air. It became clear to Akhil that it was a big animal, likely a tiger. The tiger let out a quiet moan, confirming that it was in trouble. This was not a tiger on the hunt. Akhil kept his gun fixed on his shoulder, following the tiger's every move. The animal crept closer, and Akhil couldn't afford to let his guard down, even for a moment. And then Akhil noticed it, a chain hanging down from the tiger's neck, where it was wrapped. The clunking of the chain slowed to a stop as the tiger halted just a few feet away from Akhil, showing no indication of fear. Akhil's partner Chanda had also been awakened by the noise and rushed to the scene. Akhil yelled for Panda to go and get the army doctor while he kept an eye on the tiger. The tension in the air was palpable as they waited for help to arrive. The doctor, having worked as a volunteer veterinarian in the past, knew that this tiger was in deep trouble. As he inspected the tiger, the doctor noticed an engraving on the side of a lock at the bottom of the chain. It was the name of a circus, with the logo of a tent in the center of 2 larger circles. This tiger had once been a circus animal, named Keela. This female tiger had been trained to perform on stage, jumping through hoops and dazzling audiences. But behind her disciplined and responsive behavior lay years of harsh training and mistreatment. Keela was the main attraction of a small circus troupe. With the 2 other male tigers aging, she was the only one able to perform. The ringmaster was confident that Keela would never step out of line, but something had changed in the last few months. Unbeknownst to her handlers, Keela had mated with one of the male tigers, Raja, and was now pregnant with their cubs. This changed everything for Keela. Usually tigers retreated to privacy after becoming pregnant, but at the circus, that wasn't possible. On the day the police invaded the circus, Keela saw her opportunity to escape. The main purpose of the police visit was to be paid off in bribe money, and they were not interested in shutting the operation down. But Keela had other plans. Despite the fears instilled in her by the ringmaster, Keela broke free from her enclosure. Spotting a cave a few hours later, Keela had given birth to 4 tiny cubs. But now she faced a new challenge, gathering enough food. That's when she met the soldiers. They fed and cared for Keela, removing her chain collar. The tiger became incredibly affectionate. But this was short-lived, as Keela suddenly stood up and ran back into the forest. The 3 army men were left standing there, looking out to the dimmed forest, astonished by the entire ordeal. But even more shocking was the following day when Keela returned. With a bounce in her step, Keela approached the soldiers, and hanging out of her mouth was one of her cubs. She dropped it right at their feet, seemingly proud to show off her small creation to the men who had saved her. The soldiers were allowed to pet and hold the cub, who reciprocated the affection. Since then, Keela and her young frequented the soldiers, until one day they stopped visiting altogether. A few days later, a nearby police officer and a circus manager arrived at the army base, claiming to be searching for a tiger roaming nearby. The soldiers noticed a lanyard hanging out of the circus manager's pocket, bearing the name of the circus. Their suspicions grew stronger. When the police officer demanded information, Akhil and Chanda lied, putting their jobs at risk. Little did they know that their actions would set a series of events that would lead to the permanent closing of the circus. The doctor who had treated Keela called an animal rescue group, and fortunately, they got to her first. Keela and her cubs were now safe in a wildlife sanctuary, where they were being cared for by dedicated veterinarians. Akhil, Chanda, and the doctor were invited back for an exclusive visit, where they witnessed Keela's majestic presence once again.